Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight for our Evergreen School District Board of Directors meeting. This evening, to get us started, we want to do a roll call to confirm our attendees of the members of the school board. I'm Julie Bocanegra, Board Chair. Vice President Bradford. Here. Director Rob Perkins.
Here.
Director Jenny Grunwald. Here. Director Rachel Rogers.
Here.
Superintendent Mike Merlino.
Here.
Administrative Assistant Lori Stroll. Here. All right, so again, the time is now 5:33 p.m. and under Governor Inslee's Proclamation 2028, in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, temporarily suspends portions of the Open Public Meeting Act. The proclamation requires that all attendance at an open public meeting not take place in person, but occur remotely, including the board directors and the public. Our meeting this evening is conducted via Zoom audio webinar. At this time, I would like to call on Director Rob Perkins to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rob. All right, our first order of business is to adopt the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt our agenda?
Director Bradford, I move to adopt today's agenda.
Director Perkins seconds.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. I will call on each board director independently. For me, it's an aye. Victoria?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jenny?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Great, thank you. All right, next is matters reserved for board action. Under this, it's a ratification of a collective bargaining agreement between Evergreen School District number 114 and the Evergreen Education Association. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Mike to say a few words.
Yeah, you have in front of you documents related to the agreement with EEA that we came to at the end of June. It's a 3-year deal. I think you've got salary schedules as well as kind of the high points. I think I've said it a few times already. It was significant. It's a 3-year deal. It's significant that we were able to come to agreement in the month of June. Honestly, it's been a long time since I can remember us having a 3-year deal negotiated as early as we have. The EEA, I think it was on the 30th, had their general membership meeting. Then they took roughly a week to vote. I can't remember if it was the 30th, but some towards the end of June, beginning of July. Ultimately, my understanding is that they ratified the agreement with a 93% yes vote. And I would like to again thank Janae Gomes, who led our team in the negotiation and I think did a tremendous job. I would also like to thank EEA, Bill Bevel, the president, as well as Lisa Rain, their UniServe rep and their team. It wasn't easy to negotiate by Zoom. I think we had one meeting where we were all together. You often can have misreads of what people intend when you do things by Zoom. Like sometimes we say things, we miss words in like we're trying to say like a pledge or something like that. We miss words here or there. These things happen. And so we were able to, in this situation, even though there were a couple times there maybe, I don't know if there were ever misunderstandings, but just different maybe interpretations of things, we were able to always reach out, have kind of individual meetings if we needed to do that. So it was a great process. And I just want to say how much I appreciate both teams in making it happen. And I think that's, I can answer any questions you might have, but you've had the documents for a while.
All right, so I guess at this time, should we take a motion and then open it up for questions and comments from the board?
You need to hear a motion. I move that we approve the tentative agreement reached between the Evergreen Association and the Evergreen School District as presented to us.
Director Bradford, second.
Okay, it's been moved in second, and now we'll go ahead and open it up for questions or comments from the board.
Mike, do you feel like this contract gives us what we'll need to have as we move through this coronavirus thing? You know, because it's so wishy-washy as to what we have to do, you know, whether we're open or not, and all of that.
This agreement kind of sets the big picture of the next 3 years. We have yet to meet and start having conversations about potentially an MOU around opening in the fall. So I know Janae's reached out to Bill. We don't have a meeting date set yet, but we're working on doing that. So we needed to get this agreement in place for the 3 years to start the conversation around how the opening might look.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I know that I'm really happy we have a 3-year deal, and that everybody worked really hard on coming together to make it happen. I know Mike and you and Janae, work really well with our union leadership, and so I'm just happy that we were able to get that done, and we have something in place for the next 3 years.
I agree with all of that, and the evidence of obvious good faith on both sides and the interest in getting this done was plain to see, even as you work through what are clearly some difficult and salient issues. I have a question about one of the items. There were additions to employee protections in Section G, talking about, and I'm just going to quote from here, without expecting that there's an instant answer to the question, but it says that employees who are threatened by physical harm shall notify principal supervisors, and then it reads, if in their absence or inaccessibility, and if necessary, the appropriate law enforcement authority. Is there a definition of necessary that they're using?
I think I don't recall being in meetings where there was a specific conversation about that, around what the definition of necessary would mean in that. But we can ask Janae and see if there's any notes that kind of would support that.
Well, I should say, for context, that I just had a meeting earlier today in relation to WASDA legislative positions, where I heard some stories about the things that haven't happened here, but young kids, elementary age kids, being turned over to law enforcement for behavior problems. And given the fact that EEA is, part of the factions and groups that are teaching us about equity, the way they loaned us that book or gave us that book, and their interest, I imagine that they won't interpret this harshly for kids, but it still raises kind of an equity question to see that language in the contract. There's no reason to vote no, but just I'm concerned about law enforcement being called on kids, and I hope that it's a really,
Yeah, I don't think that the conversation was to try to figure out how to get the police into the schools.
No.
I think their main interest was just trying to protect their members, and then trying to figure out what would be the process to make that happen. But I know that there's a deeper answer to that, and we can get that to you, Rob.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to just kind of talk it out a little bit, but I'm entirely in support of the language as it stands here and the deal that was made. There, you go back to the good faith, and I appreciate everybody who had all that hard work to do and pulled it together.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? No? All right. Well, then I guess at this time, we will go ahead and take a vote to ratify the collective bargaining agreement between Evergreen School District and the Evergreen Education Association. So again, a roll call vote. All in favor, say aye. It's an aye for me. Victoria?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jenny?
Aye.
And Rachel?
Aye.
Great. That makes me very happy that we have that 3-year contract in place. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, well, that was really the only order of business that we had on our special Board of Directors meeting agenda this evening. We will now call for a recess, but we're immediately going to go into a board workshop, which we will discuss quarterly bond update. And I understand that we have many guests with us this evening to present the quarterly bond update. So we'll go ahead and go right into workshop unless anybody has any objections to that.